Okay, so this is a lesson on inverse, direct, and joint variation. Homework tonight is worksheet 9.1a, and we are looking at a quiz on Monday. What I'd like you to do is pause the video and take a look at table 1. I just want to point out there is no importance to the fact that this 8 is highlighted. It's just that's where the cursor was when I took the screenshot of the calculator. I want you to think about these two blue questions. How much does this job pay per hour? And I want you to write an equation that would model the earnings for earnings Y for X hours. So go ahead, pause the video and try that out. Okay, so hopefully you figured out that this job pays $9.50 per hour because 2 hours worked, they made $19, and it seems to add $9.50 after that. And so the equation would be Y equals 9.5x. All right, I want you to consider a second table. This table, again, no significance to the fact that this is highlighted. That's just where the cursor was. Lists the weight of individual boxes in pounds and the number of boxes that are of that weight that a freight elevator can hold safely. So if you have boxes that weigh 100 pounds, you can put 100 boxes. If you have boxes that weigh 200 pounds, you can put 50 boxes. So the two questions I want you to think about are how much in pounds can the freight elevator hold safely? And I would like you to please write an equation that would model the weight of the individual boxes. That would model the weight of the individual boxes in pounds. And how many boxes could the freight elevator hold? Okay, so hopefully you figured out that this freight elevator can hold 10,000 pounds safely. Because if you have a 100-pound box and you can fit 100 boxes, if you multiply these together, you get 10,000 pounds. I'm just going to pick this one because the arithmetic is easier. Here, if you have 200-pound boxes times 50 boxes, again, that also equals 10,000 pounds. So the equation is the number of boxes will be 10,000 divided by the weight of the boxes X. So like if all the boxes weighed 1 pound, you could put 10,000 boxes in the elevator. What we have here, we have two examples. One is joint variation, and the other is inverse variation. We call this first example where you had a job where you made $9.50 an hour. This is direct, whoa, that was odd. Direct, or sometimes it's called joint variation, because as X goes up, Y goes up. X directly affects Y. The more hours you work, the more money you make. Direct. Now, our elevator situation, this is an example of inverse variation, because the heavier the boxes, the less boxes you can hold. As this variable went up, this variable went down. If I could draw an arrow. I don't know why it's not drawing. Uh-oh. This variable went down. Okay, unlike our direct variation situation, as the number of hours you worked went up, the money you made went up. So this is the difference between direct and inverse variation. Again, I want to point out direct and joint, they mean the same thing. Synonyms. All right, here we go. So it says write a equation for the given relationship. Y varies directly with X is going to be Y equals KX. So in our last example, that K was like the 9.5, the constant amount you made. Y varies inversely with X is Y equals K divided by X. So in our last example, that constant was the 10,000 pounds the elevator could hold. K is always the constant. Don't ask me why it's not C. I don't know off the top of my head. All right, letter C. Z varies. And I want to point out, here it was y varies, and it was y equals. This one says Z varies, so that tells us it's Z equals. Now, the main reason we use directly and jointly is directly is normally when you have one variable, and jointly is when you have two. So, Z varies jointly with x and y, so k times x times y. So as x and y jointly go up, Z will go up. Two more I would like you to consider. Maybe. Oh, God damn it. Okay. All right, so here we go. Y varies inversely with the square of x. So inversely means we're going to take our constant and divide it by the square of x. And now Z varies directly with y. So as soon as I read that without even looking at my answer, I know it's going to be Z equals ky, but inversely with x divided by x. So what I would like you to do is to consider all of these and think about whether or not the next three equations would model direct variation, inverse variation, or none. My recommendation is you solve for y to make that determination. Pause the video. All right, so if you solve A for y, you get y equals negative x plus 12. This is a situation of neither. That plus 12, there's no, like, if x goes up, y goes up. You don't get 12 bonus dollars. It can't affect, you have another, something else affecting y, so that's a neither. Here, if you solve for y, you would get y equals 5 divided by x. That looks like inverse variation to me. Now this one, if you solve for y, you would get y equals 2x. This is a perfect example of direct variation because as x goes up, y is just going to be twice x. Okay. So I've got a few more. Okay, go ahead, pause the video and see if you can get these four. All right, number one is y equals, if you solve it for y, 8 divided by x. That's going to be inverse. Number 2 is already solved and it's got that pesky x, so that's going to be none, or neither, whatever. Number 3 is already kind of written in y equals form, 1/2 x. So that's direct variation. Now, some people are going to be like, it's 1/2, it's going up, it's dividing it by x by 2. Yeah, y is still going up, it's just going up slowly. And number 4, if you solve it for y, it's going to be y equals 3x, which is also direct. All right. So, knowing we have these relationships, I want you to write some general equations. Let's go through these together. N varies jointly with m is going to be n equals, because n varies, k, and then it's jointly with m, so times m. Y varies inversely with x and jointly with z. All right, z varies. Always start with that k. Inversely with the cube of y. And directly with the square root of x. says the variables x and y vary inversely. So we immediately know y equals k over x. Y is 1/2 when x is 6, sorry. Write an equation that relates x and y. Find y when x is -3. Well, immediately if I solve for k by multiplying by 6, I know k is 3. So my equation is going to be y equals 3 over x. There's my equation. Check. Find y when x is -3. Y is -1. All right, we're going to do, I really have no idea how many more. Just one more, I think. Let's see. Homework answers? Yep. Okay, we're going to do one more. Z varies jointly, so I'll start off with z equals k with x. Oh, jointly with x. And the square of y. When x is 10, so, z was 135, so 135 equals k times 10 times 9 squared. So this is going to be 135 equals 9 squared is 81 times 10. Oh, I think I want a calculator for this. So let's see. 135 divided by, of course it would be nicer if I had a nice calculator. 1.6 repeating. Is that like 2/9? No. No, wait, let me get a better calculator. So that's 1/6. All right, so now my equation is going to be z equals 1/6 xy squared. So I have the equation. It says find z when x is 45 and y is 8. So times 45 times 8 squared, I got 480. All right, so homework tonight is 9.1a. It's in the packet you already have. It looks like this. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to put the answers up so you can check if you need to. Otherwise, go ahead, pause the video, and get started.